Welcome to the Loose Nut Printing Channel. In this video we'll be starting to tinker with this Flsun cube that needs a few parts reprinted to fix it, a few parts that needs to be replaced. But luckily enough, this printer came with a handful of upgraded parts and it was graciously given to me for free. I also have a few extra parts from a friend that will be great additions to this printer. And here are the parts that it came with. It came with a few extra stepper drivers and hot ends. First upgrade we'll be doing is putting a new power cord on this thing, because the stock one you can see is a little thin, would work, but it had a burn in it, so good reasoning to upgrade the power cable to something a little bit bigger. And as we were starting to disassemble it, found some corrosion on the negative wire for the heated bed. And if you're looking at this MOSFET, you can see that one of the screw terminals is darker than the rest. So just a little concerning. Have to keep an eye on that while using the printer to make sure nothing's getting overheat. Time to remove the MOSFET off the printer for now till we can start reassembling it. Nice thing is the previous owner put some electrical tape on the back of it to prevent it from shorting out on the chassis. Here's a better look at that one terminal darker. With the tape off, we can see the solder joints don't look bad. One couple that on the side look like they could be reflowed, but it's not the one that is darker, so who knows. Now time to get the hot end off. First off, we got to remove this Bowden tube off the extruder. Looks like the printer wasn't extracted of old plastic before putting it away. Oh well, no major. We'll get these 3 screws out of the old hot end, pop it out of the way, and one less thing that's going to be in our way while we're working on this machine. Wiggle that sucker loose. Oh no, we still have 1 screw. There we go. Oh, still screws holding it. There we go. Drops out. Wiggle everything out off the carriage. Get a better look at this, and we're actually greeted with a mound of plastic on top of the heating block. That's not good to see. Good thing we're getting rid of this hot end for a different one that you will see the CAD and install later on. Getting a better look at the auto leveling sensor. Looks like someone got a little close with a soldering iron or something and melted it. But luckily we'll find out later if it works or not, if that actually damaged it. Now we get rid of what looks like a start of a cooling duct that was supposed to be on the back. Get rid of that first to start lightening up the carriage and seeing what we have to work with. A lot of screw coming off this. And there's a better look at what it looked like. Now since we got the carriage all cleared up, we can now get everything aligned for the Y. Because I noticed when I was moving the Y axis back and forth, the whole rod was moving. So need to realign the pulleys to make sure that doesn't walk back and forth, because the way the Y axis stepper motor is mounted, it's very close to the chassis reinforcement L bracket. So that'll be something in later on that will probably get relocated somewhere so then the belt doesn't chew on the carriage. Didn't get a photo of it, unfortunately. Didn't. But one thing down the road for the big project is going to be getting this thing upgraded to something a little bit better. Give it a clipper or something. be a good project to tinker with. Now we get over to the other side, get it lined up, like the left hand side. Once it's lined up, then we move on to the stepper driver, and there's a little surprise once we get to that one. You'll see that right away here. Now, watch how many screws comes loose. Just a single. That's not a good sign to see, only one screw tight. So we'll make sure that this is as straight as possible and get both grub screws locked down, so then make sure we don't have any slippage. Now we move on to the main board and setting it up for the stepper drivers. Originally this motherboard had A4988s. Now we're going to be installing DVR 8824s, and so we got to get these little plugs in, 3 of them instead of the singles that would have been in there from factory. Takes us a few shots to get this in there, and well, second shot obviously wasn't it. Hopefully the third shot is the charm, and well, it looks like the third shot is the charm. There we go, pop the one that decided to go in. Now we just load up the motherboard with the rest of them, and there we go. 4 slots fully loaded. The 5th slot will be used later on, but you'll have to come back to see that later. These are the DVR 8824s that we're going to be using on this main board for this printer. Just making sure the engagement pin is in the right spot. Know where that is. Now checking the main board to see where the engagement pin is. On this one, the silk screen is taken out by the actual through hole, but easy enough to realize where it is. Give myself visual cue to where it goes, plop that in, and boom, she is seated. Now with it seated, we can get another one, get the amperage set, and now we can move on to getting the main board wired to the printer. We did the power off camera, just make it easier. Now we just have to plug the stepper motors into their according places. Now we grab the next one, double check it's okay, plug it into its home, and there. Now we have our X and Y axis plugged in. Now we just have to get the end stops plugged in. And if you are a keen eye here, I didn't catch it at start, but where these end stops are getting plugged in are going to cause an issue. Spoiler alert. Get the screen plugged in to see if that works, and pretty much looks like it's ready for a first power up. There we go. You seen the screen blink? That means we got power. The printer is not catching fire, so that's a good sign. Now we can go into the screen and see how the setup is on this and the layout. And well, first time looking at it, not sure where the axis moving tab is. And well, if you've seen it before I did, good on you, because it took me, obviously you can see, a few times to figure out the menu system and figure out where it was. But you know, third time is the charm for me, apparently. There we go. Now we just tell it to move one of the axes, and well, hit the obviously it looks like hitting it multiple times the carriage isn't moving, so that means we have no communication between screen and motherboard, or there's an issue with the motherboard not sending out communication with the stepper drivers. So let's try connecting it to the computer to see if that will solve our communication issue. And well, oh, we got a judder, and well, it looks like the screen and main board won't communicate to each other, so have to investigate into why that isn't working later on in a later video. But at least we now can see that the machine actually does move. That means it's worth doing more work and upgrades to get it to actually that first point of extruding some plastic. So we're on a good course. Now we get a little farther in tuning this thing, and well, look at this. She's actually moving all axes. That is a great sight to see and a great ending point for this video. Thank you for watching this video and taking your time. Hopefully to see you guys again in the next one. And have yourself a great one. This is Loose Nut Printing, signing out.